Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. We're about to explore a fascinating and important topic: why women over 40 go crazy and break families apart. Today's presentation will delve into the reasons behind this phenomenon, what triggers these changes, and how we can understand and support women through this stage of life. So, let's get started and uncover the insights that can help us all better understand this complex issue. As we move into this slide, I want to highlight how complex adult relationships can be. When we talk about these relationships, especially as women reach their 40s and beyond, certain behaviors can sometimes seem confusing or even disruptive. It's important to recognize that these behaviors might feel destabilizing to families, but they often have deeper roots. Understanding this complexity helps us see the bigger picture: how individual changes and life stages influence relationship dynamics. This sets the stage for us to explore how these shifts impact not just women, but the entire family system, and why empathy and awareness are so crucial in navigating these transitions. Understanding these behaviors through a psychological lens really helps us see the bigger picture. Many of these actions are subtle tests, almost like emotional quizzes. They're designed to evaluate a man's emotional strength, resilience, and stability. What's important to recognize is that these behaviors aren't just random or petty. They often serve as a way for someone to gauge how well a man handles stress, setbacks, or challenges. By understanding this, we can better interpret what's really going on beneath the surface. It ties into the overall theme of this presentation, which is about gaining insight into emotional dynamics and understanding behavior more deeply. When we see these actions as tests rather than just acts of annoyance or manipulation, it shifts our perspective and helps us respond more thoughtfully. Now, let's talk about biological and social attunement. Women, both biologically and socially, tend to be quite attuned to signs of weakness in others. This isn't just a conscious choice, it's often an unconscious process. These behaviors act as subtle probes, helping women assess whether a potential partner is strong enough or compatible with their own needs. Essentially, it's a way of gauging strength and resilience without explicitly stating it. This process plays a significant role in how women evaluate compatibility and form connections. By understanding this, we can see how deeply rooted these tendencies are and how they influence relationship dynamics. It ties into the broader theme of how biological and social factors shape our interactions and choices. Let's explore some common psychological traps that women might fall into. These are patterns of thinking or behavior that can sometimes hold us back or create misunderstandings. Today, I'll share 20 of these traps, along with expert insights on how they work and how we might recognize them. Understanding these traps is crucial because it helps us become more aware of our own thought processes. By doing so, we can start to challenge unhelpful patterns and move toward healthier, more empowering ways of thinking. Remember, these traps are quite common, and everyone can fall into them at times. The goal isn't to judge ourselves, but to understand and learn how to navigate these mental shortcuts. As we go through these, I encourage you to think about which ones resonate with your experiences and how recognizing them might help you in your personal growth and relationships. So, let's dive into these 20 common psychological traps. Let's delve into some key tests that reveal underlying emotional dynamics in communication. First up is the late text test. When a woman intentionally delays her reply, she's actually assessing your reaction. This taps into what psychologists call variable rewards, the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. A man who panics, double texts, or reacts irritably shows dependency. But a strong man stays calm, demonstrating independence and emotional regulation. Next is the tell me about your ex trap. Asking about past relationships isn't just curiosity, it's a probe for unresolved emotional wounds. If she speaks with bitterness, it indicates attachment to the past. If she brags, it might be insecurity. This is a form of projection, where hidden vulnerabilities surface when triggered. Then there's the "I forgot my wallet" moment. This situation tests whether a man feels exploited. If he instantly covers costs without a second thought, it could signal that he's easily manipulated. Economically, this mirrors the sunk cost fallacy, continuing to invest even when it's no longer beneficial. A strong man balances generosity with boundaries. Now, consider the "I am bored" trap. Complaints about boredom are often aimed at your presence rather than the activity itself. Behavioral psychology shows us that weak men scramble to entertain. Strong men stay grounded and composed, demonstrating emotional stability. Finally, the jealousy seed. Casual mentions of another man are tests of your reaction. From an evolutionary perspective, unchecked jealousy signals insecurity. Respond calmly and you project confidence. Overreact and you risk revealing vulnerability. These tests are subtle, but they reveal a lot about emotional strength, attachment styles, and how someone handles pressure. Recognizing them helps us understand the deeper dynamics at play in communication. Let's dive into tests 6 through 10, which focus on compliance and control mechanisms. These are subtle ways people test boundaries and see how much you're willing to bend. First up is the "you are too nice" comment. This is actually a disguised criticism designed to test your compliance, how much you're willing to shift or bend just to gain approval. Weak men tend to overcorrect in these situations, trying too hard to please, often sacrificing their boundaries. Strong men, on the other hand, maintain their values and stand firm, recognizing the need to stay true to themselves. Next is the silent treatment. Withholding attention is a classic form of social control. Research on child behavior shows that people naturally chase what disappears, so silence can be a powerful tool. A strong man recognizes this as a test, not a personal rejection, and understands that it's about assessing reactions rather than ending the relationship. Then we have the hypothetical future trap, like being asked, "Would you take me on vacation?" These questions test whether you overpromise just to please. Negotiation research indicates that blindly agreeing out of desperation can backfire, revealing a lack of boundaries. Maintaining realistic limits demonstrates maturity and confidence. Now consider the tiny insult. Small jabs are used to test emotional stability. Social psychology reveals that minor insults can trigger defensiveness in fragile egos. A strong person remains poised, unaffected, while a weak one reacts impulsively. It's about staying centered under pressure. Finally, the "tell me your dream" test. Discussing your goals and vision shows conviction. Hesitation or vagueness suggests a weak foundation. Motivation psychology shows that clarity about your goals correlates with follow-through and leadership. Being able to articulate your vision confidently is a mark of strength. All of these tests tie back into the overall theme, understanding how people gauge your strength and boundaries. Recognizing these signals helps us maintain control and project confidence in every interaction. On slide 8, we're diving into tests 11 through 15, which focus on identity and priority challenges that men face in social situations. First, let's talk about the comparison to other men. References to other men can subtly create pressure. Social psychology shows that comparing ourselves to others is a powerful tool for leverage. If you respond insecurely, it signals low self-esteem, but showing indifference demonstrates confidence. It's a way of protecting your self-image. Next, we have the idea of changing your style. Small requests for personal changes are actually tests of your resilience, what psychologists call the foot-in-the-door technique. When you agree to minor requests, it can lead to bigger compromises later. Strong men, therefore, protect their self-image by resisting unnecessary changes that might undermine their confidence. Then there's the fake emergency. Sudden crises are designed to test your priorities and your willingness to comply. Weak men tend to drop everything, showing their lack of boundaries, while strong men respond rationally, balancing empathy with maintaining their autonomy and sense of control. Moving on, we encounter the "are you even listening" trap. When someone questions your attentiveness, it's often less about factual accuracy and more about testing your dominance. Staying calm and confident in these moments reflects emotional intelligence. Guilt or panic, however, reveal fragility and insecurity. Finally, the test of lateness. If she arrives late, your patience is on display. Social science shows that anxious reactions can surrender emotional control, making you seem less confident. Remaining calm and composed helps you maintain influence and project confidence. Overall, these tests are about understanding how you respond under pressure, protecting your identity, and reinforcing your sense of self amid social challenges. Now, let's move on to tests 16 through 20, which focus on advanced psychological maneuvers. These are subtle but powerful ways to gauge someone's true character under pressure. First, there's the sudden mood flip. When someone quickly shifts from warmth to cold, it's meant to test their emotional stability. Military and psychological training use this tactic to see how individuals respond when their comfort zone is disrupted. Strong men tend to maintain their equilibrium, staying calm and steady. Weak men, on the other hand, may chase approval or become visibly upset. Next is the subtle downgrade. This involves downplaying someone's achievements, calling someone cute instead of smart, for example. It's a microlabeling technique that tests how someone perceives themselves. Repeated microlabels can shape a person's identity over time, as the theory of labeling suggests. Strong individuals won't internalize every minor critique. They see it for what it is and don't let it define them. The third maneuver is the "I need space" hint. When someone requests space, it's often a test of emotional dependency. A weak man might plead or become overly clingy, while a strong man respects boundaries without losing his independence. This is about understanding the difference between healthy boundaries and emotional clinginess. Moving on, praising another man is a subtle way to assess security. Complimenting someone else can reveal how confident a person truly is. If they lose composure or become insecure when attention shifts, it indicates a lack of self-confidence. Conversely, emotionally stable men can handle praise and shifting attention with ease, which signifies inner strength. Finally, the shift the blame move involves minor accusations to test rationality and resilience. Research shows that blaming others is often a dominance tactic. Strong men respond judiciously, staying calm and addressing the issue logically. Weak men tend to apologize indiscriminately, seeking to diffuse the situation, but often losing respect in the process. Overall, these maneuvers give us a window into someone's true nature, whether they're resilient and confident or reactive and insecure. Recognizing these patterns helps us navigate interactions more effectively and understand the underlying dynamics at play. And that brings us to the conclusion of our discussion. These behaviors, which might often be misunderstood as irrational or even crazy, are actually more subtle than they seem. They are frequently social tests rooted in deep evolutionary psychology, social conditioning, and behavioral science. Women, biologically and psychologically, tend to be attuned to qualities like strength, consistency, and emotional stability. So, when men respond with groundedness, confidence, and measured empathy, they are effectively passing these tests. This helps maintain both personal integrity and relational harmony. Understanding these traps and tests is crucial because it allows us to develop greater emotional intelligence. When we do, we can foster stronger, healthier relationships, even in those high-stakes moments that often arise after age 40. Recognizing what's really happening beneath the surface helps us navigate these dynamics more skillfully, leading to more fulfilling connections.